and I am a graduate of economics. I studied economics in Madonna University, Okija. Actually, I am here to teach you how you can make this beautiful fan over here. It's very easy to learn, and it has become very popular in the Nigerian wedding scene. You know, this fan has become very popular among brides. They use it to accentuate their outfit on the traditional marriage and even the white wedding. Now, this fan has turned from being a functional accessory to being a fashion statement. You can use this fan for weddings, you can use it to church on Sundays just to go with your outfit. It's now a fashion statement. So I'll be teaching you how to make this lovely fan. Now for the fan, you will need some implements. First here is the skeleton of the fan. This white thing here, this thing is what gives the fan its structure. So this is the skeleton of the fan. That's why it's called the skeleton, because it gives the fan the shape, the structure. Now you also have the trimming for the edge of the fan here. This what you have here is called the trimming. You have the material for the body of the fan. Now this material, you can use any material. It doesn't have to be this lacy material. You can use sinami, which is the material for making hats. You can use Ankara. You can use ashoke, and you can use any material that will go with your outfit. You can use it. Then we also have the flowers for designing. These little flowers there have the flowers. And then I have this is called the candlestick gum. It is used to gum the materials to the skeleton of the fan. Why we use this gum and not any other one is because of its transparent nature. You see, it doesn't leave stains on the body of the fan. It's very neat. The finishing is neat because of this gum. So I advise you use this gum, not top bond or any other gum that can leave stains. And then I have here my measuring tape for measuring distances, you know, so that everything will be equal and set very nicely. I have my scissors for cutting my material, and I also have the chalk here for marking. Then finally I have this is the gun, the machine we use for the candlestick gum. You just insert it in here, and when you put it on, you press it and it melts the gum, and it comes out here in a liquid form, not in this solid state. So even if you don't have this gun, you can use your candlestick. Though the work won't be as neat as this, but some people still use the candlestick. Just the candle, the normal candlestick of 10 naira, you burn the gum and then you use it on your fan. So now let's go into the business of the day, which is making this beautiful hand fan I have here. First of all, you take your skeleton and your gum, put it on so that it can melt the gum inside. I have a little gum already inserted, so I don't have to use this till this one is finished. Now I will gum this skeleton together so that it will be like this, because I don't want my fan to fold. If I want the fan to fold, I won't have to gum the skeleton together. So I'm going to gum this skeleton together to be like this. First of all, you have to open it very wide so that it can be at least at an angle of about 180 degrees, which is a straight line. So I'm going to open my fan. To look something like this, but you need to open it very wide, because the wider it is, the better the shape of the fan. Now after that, you now gum the edges. Take note that this is the edge I'm going to gum, the front side. I'm going to put the gum somewhere here along this edge. These edges, I'm going to gum this skeleton together so it will be strong and firm like this one. So now that's what I'll be doing. I press my gum. And carefully place it here. Make sure that the space is not too much so that your fan will have this 180 degrees shape. These edges, just keep gumming it like that till you have it like this, just step by step, one by one. Take your time and gum it. Keep gumming it to the end. As you can see, we have finished gumming the sides of the skeleton of the fan. This is the back side. See, this is the front. You have to take your time to make sure that the gap is not too much. Just a little, just by the sides here. You apply the gum. You can see it's almost at an angle of 180 degrees, almost at a straight line. The base is almost at a straight line. So now you have your basic skeleton. Now the next step is to put your material. Like I said earlier, you can use any material at all. It doesn't have to be this particular material. I just saw this material and liked it, and I bought it. You can use your Ankara, you can use lace, you can use ashoke, any material that you like, any one of your choice. So now I'll divide this material into two. This is 1 yard. I'm going to divide it. Okay, that's half yard, and this is half yard. I'm still going to cut this one into two. since the material is very light, I'll have to double it on the skeleton. You see, it's very light. The whole skeleton is showing, which is not too nice. So I have to double this. That means I'll need to cut it. But if you are using a material like cinami, which is thick, or ashoke, you might not need to double it. Just one layer might be enough. So it depends on the material you're using for the fan. Okay. Keep that one aside and look for the front of the material. I think this is the front of the material. Now I'm going to gum this material on this skeleton. But before that, I will need to cut out this little arc here, this shape here for the hand, where whoever is using the fan can hold the fan. So I'm going to measure this arc here and cut it. Take my measuring tape. Okay. I'll measure right from where I want the material to stop. I want it to stop somewhere here. But if you want the material to begin from here, somewhere here, then you measure from here down to this edge. But since I want the material to begin from here, I want all these places here to be empty. I'll measure from this hole, this little triangles here. So now that's what I'm going to do. Take my tape. I have here 2 inches, roughly 2 inches. So I'm going to cut an arc. First, I'll fold my material into 2 equal places. That's the other half I cut into 2 equal places, and measure. Measure 2 inches on this side. Measure another 2 inches on this side. And then measure 2 inches diagonally, like this. Like this. Now I'll join all the lines together. I have something like this, like an arc, and I cut. Now this is what you have. Okay, then you can now gum it. But since I'll be doubling the material, I'll still like to do the same thing with the second layer here. So I fold it into 2 equal places. Then I take my measurements. I have here 2 inches. 2 inches. And 2 inches on this side. 2 inches diagonally. And I draw an arc, connecting all the points, and I cut. See, have this. Okay, so now The next step is to gum this material, attach it to this skeleton. Make sure you have the front of the material. Look for the front. Okay, this is the front of the material. Because the back will be attached to the skeleton, not the front. Now you take your gum. One thing with this candlestick gum is that it dries really fast, so you need to be very fast when you put it. Once you put the glue, you need to place the material on it immediately so it doesn't dry out. Be careful because it's still hot. Do that to the next arm of the skeleton. It's hot, so you need to be careful so you don't burn your fingers. Do that to the next. Okay, you can also use feathers. To make the feather fans, you can just buy feathers and it's still the same process, just different materials. Like I said earlier, you can use any material of your choice, even feathers. So you take it step by step like that till you gum the whole material on the fan. Now, as you can see, I've finished gumming the first material to the fan. This is it. Now I'm going to proceed by gumming this second one to this to make it 2 layers so that it will be thicker. It'll be something like this. Okay. See, it's thicker, the skeleton is more concealed now. So it's still the same process, really. You just take your gum, apply it to this layer. To the skeleton, not just to the ordinary material, so that your work will be very neat as possible. Okay. And see, the gum is just dripping out, so you need to be careful. You don't need to do it on a tablecloth, and if you don't want to mess up your table, you can put newspaper on it, old newspapers or old calendars. It's hot. Dries really fast. Okay, I've gummed the second layer to the fan. You can see it looks very nice, and the skeleton is well concealed now. So I will now gum the back, just the same process like the front, but it will be just one layer. Usually people don't even gum the back, but I like to do it so that your fan will have good view both front and back. So let's get to it. Just the same process as the last one. We cut the material into two. Alright, now this is the back and this is the front. You can see the skeleton is now well concealed. So the next step now will be to trim the edges. To trim into the shape of the fan. I have my scissors here, and then I trim away carefully. Okay, you can make sure the edges are okay, well trimmed. Just go a second time. See, our fan is looking beautiful already, and we have not even started with the designing. Okay, now the next step will be to put our trimming. First of all, I like to trim this edge too. This end too very neatly. Okay, now I'll use my trimming on the edges. The purpose of this trimming is just to cover this rough edge, make sure the finishing is very smooth and nice. I'll still need a little gum on this. So the gum dries really fast, so I guess I didn't put the material immediately as soon as I put the gum. That's why it's coming off. Okay. Now I'll use my trimming over the edges of the fan. Starts here with this one. We'll do that on the front. The back doesn't really need so much work. We need to concentrate on the front of the fan. Something like this. Okay. So just take your gum, put it here. You know, I told you before, it dries really fast, so you don't have to waste time on that. While it's still hot and melted, you put whatever you want to put. If not, it will dry out and you'll just be wasting the gum. Carefully and smoothly put the trim in. Okay. Okay. Just cut it here. Okay. Now I'm going to do this same thing for this side and here. So I'll be using this trimming round here. Alright, we go the same process. Just put your gum. And then you put the trimming. Alright. Now I have finished putting the trimming around the fan. You can see that the edges are covered so that the rough edges don't show. And even where they show, you can just use a scissors to trim them a little so that you have a neat finishing. That's why we use the trimming, so that the rough edges do not show. Now I also did that for the back, partly for the back, just to cover these rough edges. Now the next step is to put the design. I told you can be creative. There's no standard, there are no specifications for this. So I can choose to just place my flowers, just do something like this, maybe something like this, right? Just, whatever suits you, whatever you like. You're free to be creative. That's one thing I love about making the hand pan. There's no do A, do B. You just have to be creative. See? This is another design that is a bit different from this. So that's just the next step. You still use the gum. Okay. And then put it here. Place my flower. Put it here. Okay. Okay, now we've put all the flowers. You can see the lovely design I have here. You can see, and I also try to use the flowers to cover where I join the gum, so that my work looks very neat and presentable. You can see it's slightly different from this. So you're very free to be creative. Be as creative as you want to. I mean, it's your thing. So you can use this lovely hand fan to church on Sunday. You know, our weather here is very hot, and I have this lovely hand fan to help me cool off during the hot weather, and it also serves as a fashion statement. This can go with my traditional attire, it can go with my English wear, whatever. And also many brides also go for this particular hand fan to go with their, their bridal outfits. So this is a very, very lucrative business. It's quite easy to make. Even if you can't get this, though this gun is quite cheap. It costs about 1,500 to 2,500 naira. You can get your own, and that is the only equipment you need. You need the scissors and the tape. So with a little money, you can start something. You can start your own business. And I want to tell you that a hand fan like this goes for 2,500, 3,000, 3,500. It depends on the materials you use, and you feel free to fix your price. So I do this for a living. It gives me income. Now, to know more about this hand fan making and many other things, I want you to visit our website, which is on your screen right now. You can call the numbers on your screen, or you can send us an email. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.